not done building muscle when you reach 60. Like,
yeah. It's like the people that always wait to start something until everything is just right. It's never going to be just right.
I think so much of our disappointment comes from our expectation versus reality. So we think, like I try to say, transformation doesn't happen in a vacuum. You still have to navigate real life. It doesn't stop just because you said, I'm going to change my health. It's like, well, okay, but you're still going to have to do it in such a way that you can navigate. You might have a family, you might have a career, you know, you're a busy professional. I'm not sure what your family situation is like, but you've got lots on your plate and you're still go and approaching 60. I like to say, like, obviously you can't pour from an empty glass. Like, you have to fill your glass, and maybe to explain to people, like, other people in your life don't lose when you make yourself a priority.
Mm-hmm. I think that's a great one. And I think people lose sight of that.
Yeah.
I they feel very selfish, and
yeah,
really it's almost selfless in many ways, you know?
Yeah, I think ladies especially struggle with this, and especially like moms, they struggle with this idea, like, taking care of myself is selfish. And like, how do you put it to sort of help people get around that?
Well, I mean, I think you were hitting on the nail on the head. The more we take care of ourselves, the more we can be available for our family, you know, mentally available, and be able to enjoy our time and everything. And what I would tell everyone this, I have this conversation frequently when people tell me they don't have time, and what they're thinking of is, I don't have time to drive to the gym, do my workout for an hour, drive home. Not many people have time for that.
Yeah,
okay.
That's pretty reasonable.
So, okay, don't do that. That doesn't mean don't do anything. You know, that age-old saying, something is better than nothing, is so true. Jordan and I were talking about this just yesterday, how you chip away at stuff. So maybe you don't have time to get in the car, drive to the gym, do an hour at the gym, come back. Okay, maybe you do have time to go downstairs and do two body weight circuits of something for 15 minutes. Okay, do that. Or you get a bunch of, you have a handful of dumbbells down there and you do some metabolic circuits. Set the clock for 20 minutes or something and go nuke those. That's what you do. You know, It looks different for everybody.
Well, I said to people, even because like I work from home, but I said, you can make a 10 by 10 grid on a piece of paper. And let's say you could even be binge watching a Netflix show, but between every episode, you do 10 squats and 10 push-ups, and you just mark it down in your grid. Every time you get up to go to the bathroom, go up and down your stairs, things like that. And it's that always something mindset versus the all or nothing mindset that says it's either perfect or it's nothing. Because like I say, all or nothing always ends in nothing.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. 100% agree with that. I think we set ourselves up for failure. I mean, for just collapse, because life's never going to be perfect. It's like the people that always wait to start something until everything is just right. It's never going to be just right. You know, someone say, well, you know, I'm going on vacation in, 5 days. I'm just going to start when I get back. I said, why don't you start right now by literally writing on a piece of paper every single thing you put in your mouth. You don't have to count it. You don't have to measure it. Just write it on a piece of paper. You don't have to use an app, because I never use an app. Just write paper, and start becoming aware. Why not do that?
It's the moving it from the unconscious behavior to the conscious mindset. And I say, like, what is it? Awareness is the beginning of change. We can't really change what we don't know, because I think it's over 90% of our behaviors is basically automated or habitual. And so I think when people say I'm doing everything right, I say, well, you're remembering all the right things you're doing. And we're selectively forgetting.
That's a great way of putting that. Yes. And that's exactly what happens. You know, they don't remember that they went through the drive-thru at Starbucks and got a grande latte or something. You know what I mean? I'm discharged here. I was one of those people. Almonds. I wasn't thinking calories. I didn't even consider thinking about that.
Right. Because some foods have like a health halo around them. So I don't know, maybe you'd keep them in your car or keep them in your office drawer or something like that. And you just munch a couple at a time, and you're not even like meeting a physiological need, right? And I'd like to distinguish between what I call above the neck and below the neck hunger, and say, okay, well, we're this time it's 3:00 in the afternoon. You're a little bit tired. Your mood is starting to lag. You just want a little pick me up. And it's not really about hunger, because you could get up and walk a lap around your desk and that would perk you up the same as.
And that, you know, it's so funny because as humans, I think every time we feel the slightest bit of the stomach growls or whatever, some little something, our instinct is to go, oh, I don't want to be hungry. I'm going to go eat. And so then all we're doing is we're constantly adding these calories in, when if you did what you just said, maybe get up and walk around or have some seltzer water, make a cup of coffee or something that'll take the whatever edge it is, listen to your hunger cues, you know, it'll go away, you know, and we're not starving.
Yeah.
You know, we'll be okay. We're going to be okay. I remember I would go on, like if I was driving down to see my son in college or something, it's about 2.5 hours away. I used to make sure in his early days, I would make sure that I had a bar in my purse or something, like in case I get hungry. And it's like, it's not even 3 hours. You know what I mean? What is that? But that's the mentality that I think people are. They're afraid of being a little uncomfortable, you know?
Yes, it's like we're preemptively warding off hunger. And I say, like, we lack resilience. So
yeah, it's actually a good thing. And it tells us if we're in a calorie deficit, that's going to really be an indicator. Because I have a couple clients that one of the first questions I ask them is, how's your hunger? And they, oh, it's great. I'm never hungry. And I'm like, okay, let's look at this, because that doesn't sound right. Okay. And not that you should be ravenous all the time either, but you certainly should have a little bit of hunger at some point in time.
You know, so I just talk about being friends with hunger. So, because the idea of intuitive eating sounds so good on paper, you know.
But you know what? And this is what I caution people about with that.
Yes.
Intuitive eating is an advanced skill.
Yes.
Like, you don't go from, I'm just starting out and learn how to diet or whatever, and then I'm just going to eat intuitively. I say, no, I want everyone to learn about portion sizes, learn about how calories relate to portion sizes, protein grams to portion sizes. Go through that, track, learn that, and then go to a flexible approach where within that, you're allowing foods in there that maybe you thought were bad at one point. Now you're allowing to have a donut once in a while and some pizza. You're learning to incorporate them into those numbers. That's being flexible. And then once you're really good there, then maybe you try intuitive. You know what I mean? But you don't
absolutely. Yeah, and I'm absolutely on the same page, because I think this gets thrown around, because I'm like, look, I feel like eating pizza. Now, that's not my body saying I need pizza. It was just like, I got up to 328 pounds. I've lost over 110 pounds. If I was to, thank you. Yeah. If I was to go by my feelings, I would still eat pizza every day, because pizza was my comfort food.
Sure.
And so the idea of, well, if it feels good, it's healthy. I'm like, that's a pretty misleading rabbit hole to go down. And again, if we go back to the hunger, just being afraid of experiencing a little bit of discomfort. It's like,
I was so guilty of that. And I find myself, even to this day, you know, my workspace is currently in the kitchen, and which is not the best place to have a workspace, but it is what it is. And I will find when I need to stand up and stretch my hip or something, I'll get up and start walking. My instinct is I go right over to a drawer where we keep snacks or whatever, and I'll open it. I'm like, wait a minute. No, I'm not hungry, you know, and I close it. That was my instinct, you know. Not so much that the instinct will ever go away completely, maybe, but it's what you do with it, you know, and realizing what's happening and calling yourself on it.
Yes.
You know? I tell people all the time, call yourself on your own bullshit. I mean, because that's what it is. You know?
It is.
You have to call yourself out.
So people might look and imagine that somehow, like, you've got everything figured out, that everything's going perfectly. And you know what I mean? Like, I think you're doing fantastic, but I think every one of us still has struggles. And it's good to know that it's like, oh, even those who make this their way of living, we still have our ups and downs.
And let me throw something else. What I really have struggled with, I struggle with a couple things. One is I didn't even own a scale until 3 months ago. And I had been 20, 30 years not ever stepping on a scale unless I had to go to the doctor and they make you step on that stupid thing they have there, which gave all kinds of anxiety. And then my day was either ruined or it was made. It was just whatever it said, that was how my day was going to go. And so then I don't know if you remember, several months ago, Jordan did his weigh-ins every single day and put him on social media, just another Muggle fat loss challenge when he was trying to drop some fat.
Right.
And he talked and he said, look, why don't you do it with me? I didn't want to lose fat. I just wanted to get comfortable stepping on the scale again. That was my, and so I had to buy a scale. And the first time I stepped on that scale, I thought I was going to throw up. I didn't know what to expect. I had no idea how much I weighed. I didn't know.
Yeah.
I had no idea. So I stepped on it and I'm thinking, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And I put it on social media and I did it every single day for about 2.5 months. And what I found was the first couple of weeks were hard and the first week was miserable. And after that, it got easier and easier to the point where even though before I logically knew all the fluctuations and what would happen, I knew that logically, emotionally is why I was doing it. I was able to really accept it and really look forward to it. Like, okay, so what's going to happen today? I ate late last night. Let me see. I predict it's going to be blah, blah, blah. And it became this game. And so I learned a lot from that and I'm so glad I did it. And so what's happened was after that, I haven't weighed in a while and I'm like, you know what? I'm feeling way too comfortable not weighing in again. You know, I feel like it makes me so uncomfortable that I know I have to tackle it. Because once you tackle something that makes you feel uncomfortable, you can freaking do anything. I'm weighing myself now. I'm not posting it all the time, but I'm just doing it for me, just because I want to make sure I'm still hanging around maintenance, which I am, because I think eventually I'm going to go into a little mini surplus, and that makes me incredibly uncomfortable. I'm going to struggle greatly with that because for the majority of my life, trying to avoid the scale going up to now purposefully making it going up with control. Holy shit.
But that's going to be like a really cool experiment. Like I'm a former nanotechnology researcher. I was actually a chemist, among other things. But so I love science. So it's like you're doing an experiment. Could we say you're basically going into a bulk at age 59? And it's not going to be the bulk that, you know, like I look bodybuilders who are injecting with testosterone, sure, they can add 40 pounds of muscle in, you know, sure. But to do a bulk at 60, to show like, here's what can happen. What a cool, like, I think that's an awesome one because we'll show people you're not done building muscle when you reach 60. Like,
so that's my goal, is to be able to, I mean, I do want to put on some more muscle. And ironically, over the course of many years here, I have built muscle and I have lost fat. I've done both, different periods of time. So my plan is to probably, and Jordan and I are working on this together. He's still my coach. And so he's going to walk me through it. And basically I'm just going to have 2 days during the week where I'm going to add maybe 100 to 150 calories more on those 2 days. That's it. That's where I start. And I'm going to monitor what happens with that. And I will maybe increase it to 3 days a week and just see what happens. That's how I'm going to do it. I'm not going to say every day I'm going to eat, 50, 100 more calories. I'm not going to go down that road. It's going to be select days. I'm going to increase calories and basically a bowl of oatmeal or something like that. That's pretty much what it's going to be. And so I feel like I have control over it because I think people seem to think bulking, or the word bulking is probably not I try not to use that word because people just go nuts with that. But a build phase or whatever, people seem to think you have to be in this ginormous amount of calories and you're going to look like a fat blob and all that. And that's not what happens. I want to do a lean bulk and I want to show people this is how you do it.
Yeah. And it sounds like you're taking like a long game approach to it. It's not like you've set a hard deadline where, on October 31st, I have to have gained 3 pounds of muscle. It's
not at all.
Let's experiment and let's see what happens, which is incredibly cool. And that I'm looking forward to watching you document this actually.
I'm going to put out there, I don't recommend people do it this way, but I feel like I've been in maintenance now for a long time. I know what I can eat. I don't need to weigh and measure my food for this. So what I'm going to do is use that as my template and add this little bit and see what happens, and just kind of show that it's not this necessarily dotting your I's and crossing your T's. If you have experience under you, then you can build from there. You don't start from scratch every time, solid little protein
nuggets.
Yeah, I love it. Do protein nuggets. I don't reinvent the wheel.
Yeah.
I take those ingredients and make shit out of them, you know? Probably off. We all suck at that. So
we're terrible estimators.
yeah.